Who's your new Mike? Who's your new Mike Myers? Who's the new Austin Powers?
That's a good question.
Ooh, good question.
Who says you can't bring him back? But
He's still kicking around.
oh man, that's a
Maybe you
good
have
one. I don't
like
know.
one of the Snell guys do it.
The Snell?
Who's
Yeah,
Who was that?
I mean like one of the older Snell guys, like Andy
you keep saying
Samberg
that
do
word. It
it.
doesn't help me.
I don't know what Snell means.
Snell. Oh, I'm sorry. Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
Listen,
what the
hell.
heck?
Oh.
Who uses that
Sorry,
word like that?
guys.
Snail
You guys don't watch
guys.
it. You guys don't watch it week to week. Is what
I don't
I'm-
think anyone that does
I don't
knows
think
what you mean by
anyone's.
that.
I don't
No,
think
Snell.
anyone-
Snell. What?
No, SNL.
Was beauty kill the beast?
Not quite like that.
He's gotta keep living, man.
Favorite non-pornographic magazine. Put that cookie down!
Why do I fall in love with every woman I see who shows me the least bit of attention?
I love you. You are one pathetic loser.
All right. Welcome to History of Popcorn. Consider this your secret public movie club. We are a podcast that celebrates all things movies. We react to the latest industry news and speculation, and we do movie reviews and discuss just about everything movies and entertainment. We have new episodes every Tuesday, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as a visual episode on YouTube. Hello. We are your hosts. I'm Elijah.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jake.
And we're happy you're here. We've got some special guests again this week. We're returning with the same guests as last week. Producer Chris is here, in front of the show, host of the podcast Gum Street. Please welcome back Jake.
What up? Actually, you know what? I don't make Gum Street anymore. Can we redo this part?
Okay, well, his
I'm off the record.
the former host of the podcast Gum Street
All right.
may make a triumphant return one day. Who knows?
It's on hiatus.
It's on hiatus. And we've been through our own hiatuses before, so we understand.
Hey,
Hiatus. Something like that. Welcome back, guys. Feels like forever since we've
Thanks.
spoken, huh?
Yeah, I missed you.
I missed you guys. This episode was actually... Producer Chris brought this to our attention, and he had the prompt, is A24 changing the game, and does any other studio stand a chance anymore? What do you guys think about that? This whole episode's about A24 and the history of A24 and the future of A24. What do you guys think about A24, the studio production?
A24? Wow. They are amazing, dude. Okay, so when they first started actually putting their logos in movies, maybe let's say 2018, 2019, when I first started seeing that logo pop up more and more, and I first started becoming more familiar with like what an A24 movie felt like, I remember thinking, wow, there's like a few movies that I could look back on that kind of felt like an A24 movie, and I went back and sure as shit, they were already A24 movies before they were like branding themselves. Like Ex Machina was one that I was like, oh my god, that feels just like an A24 movie, and it was an A24 movie. And so like even before they started becoming like a more household name for moviegoers, I think they've been doing a lot of work. It's almost like they fund indie movies, or they release indie movies with a much bigger budget, at least in terms of like marketing and the release. So I love A24. I think they're doing great stuff in the movie industry right now. Hopefully they continue to have their same level of uniqueness and they don't get too mainstream with it. I hope that continues, but we'll see.
We're going to be diving into the future of A24 because a lot of people are worried, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. But yeah, A24 blew up in what round one was it? It was like 20 around. I think around when you said 2018. They've been around since 2012, but A24. I think the thing that differentiates A24 from everything, well, it's just a fact, is that they didn't produce movies where they didn't give artists money to make movies. They purchased movies that were already done with people who had their own creative vision. They didn't have any studio people telling them to change anything and like that. So they only bought movies with people that had strong voices. And they're like, oh, that's a good story. We'll distribute that for them. So they would pay for movies that were already done. That's how they got their start. And that's why it's funny that you say, how can you tell it's an A24 movie or what feels like an A24 movie? Because they had no distinct like ideology of what a movie should look like or be. And I think that's what really helped them in the long run. Cause, yeah, I think that's a huge factor that a lot of studios need to take notes for, like Disney, Paramount, Universal, all of those studios have studio heads telling them they should do this or this and they should change that. A24 has never done that, and they're kind of refusing to do that with their collaborators and all the people that make movies for them. And so it's funny that you say, does this feel like an A24 movie? And I think when you like, how do you picture, Chris, how do you picture an A24 movie? Like, what do you imagine when you're like, oh, this is probably an A20, or this feels like an A24 movie?
I think that the mood that they put on the movie, that's a better word that I was looking for. Mm-hmm. There's like a certain like air to it. There's like a je ne sais quoi to it, you know? Like,
yeah, very true though. You're gonna end up speaking like that when you talk about movies. So it's okay to make fun of yourself, French, but I'm taking it serious. It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah, they just like they put a foreboding tone over a movie that you really like. It's unsettling in a comforting way. It's like the best way I could describe it. Like you enjoy the fearfulness that like you're diving into, and it gives you like a gross curiosity that I think is like what makes those movies so gripping. And I think that's probably what they incidentally did, is just by the people that were running it had an eye for those kinds of movies and like kind of were just into those sort of things. Okay. One of their first big one of their first big collaborators. Collaborated. One of their first big collaborators and directors they were pumping up was Francis Ford Coppola's daughter.
Oh, Sophia.
Yeah, helping her make things. And I think that's another person like it's another one of those like, you know, talk about a unique, out of the box, weird movie maker. Like, I think that they like were able to capture that really early on, and that's what kind of makes them stand out from everybody else. Which is why I wanted to bring this question to you guys, because as a casual fan, I'm like, I see it as, you know, there's the big studios, there's like your Lionsgate, and there's Sony and whoever. But then A24 seems like if you have an independent film and you're trying to do something interesting, it's probably coming out through A24.
Yeah, or original. It's very much based in original ideas. There's not a lot of movies that they made that have existing IPs. You know, they're all kind of their own thing. I think that's the main thing that helped them out. But A24 has adapted books. Like this is a good segue. Is like the first movie that they actually bought the rights to, of being like, we're gonna buy this story, was a movie called Moonlight. And
course.
I believe it was originally a play or something like that, and they purchased the rights to make it into a movie, and then they got Barry Jenkins, who had only done one other movie from that before that, and they made Moonlight, and Moonlight swept the Oscars that year. They won a lot of Oscars that year, and that's what kind of made them.
That's right. I remember.
That's what made them. That's what made people consider them a very prestigious company after that, is because the vision was so unique and individual, and I think that's why A24's thrived all these years. But that was a huge turning point for A24, because that was the first time they're like, we're going to give money to somebody to make something, was Moonlight, and it was the adaptation. Everything before that was already finished projects from independent filmmakers. That's why their visions are so unique. Like the first one, what I wanted to ask you guys is, do you remember what the first A24 movie you ever saw was? I think a lot of people have the same answer just because of how big the specific movie was, but it might change.
Mine was not Spring Breakers, if that's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. Spring Breakers was the first one that went viral.
It was crazy. And like looking at scenes from that movie is out of control. Like, I mean, just everything about it is so weird and like not tasteless, but definitely
talking about Spring Break.
Like, it's just weird as hell. I think Ex Machina might have been chronologically, not for the release, but the one, as far as I saw, that might have been the first one that I ever saw. And then I've seen a few of those ones that came out before it now, like The Spectacular Now, Enemy, that was like Denny V's movie. And like for the first few years, they were really not hitting very well. The Spectacular Now is pretty dope. Enemy was okay. But you're right, Chris. Like they did have that looming sense of like dread in a lot of the movies. Even The Spectacular Now is about like a love story. It does not feel very like happy, like the entire time. Like he's like a drunk alcoholic, and you're just like, man, this is going to go off the rails eventually. I know that.
Yeah, you're like, how is this going to have a happy ending? And then you realize, okay, it's kind of just ending.
Yeah, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Ex Machina, like you get that feeling of foreboding, something wrong.
Because filmmakers are sad, dude. A lot of filmmakers and creators, artists are just sad. They can just be really sad and they put it out. Yeah. So, especially if you're making an independent movie, you're like, I got to write something that I know. And everybody knows sadness. Everybody knows that.
100%. 100%. No, that's all these unique stories come out because somebody experienced something very weird and then they decided, I'm going to make a script about this. Or an album or something.
Even Spring Breakers, I remember seeing and being like, this movie wasn't horrible. Like at the end of the day, like it was
a big
weird.
Swing.
Yeah, it's a huge swing, a bit of a miss.
Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez. Yeah.
The Disney.
They're still in the Disney. They're just coming off their Disney days.
I thought it was,
Was that? Do you think that was the first A24 movie you saw?
It's 100% the first A24 movie I saw. Not knowing anything other than just like it was a raunchy movie.
A lot of people didn't know it was A20. A lot of people didn't because that was only their second movie.
Yeah,
their first movie is actually their first movie was what's his name, Tiger Blood guy, Charlie Sheen, Inside the Mind of like Charles Swanson III.
Charles Swan III.
Yeah, it's like this weird. It's not. The crazy thing about A24 is if the movie's bad, you're not really going to hear about it because they have a really smart way of dumping movies. Where you're like, I didn't even know that was an A24 movie. It's you can kind of tell which movies they believe in and which ones they don't. And the big thing about A24 is that they came up with really smart marketing to save them money. Was they only really did online viral marketing that really saved them a lot of money and got them word of mouth press, and that's why people saw Spring Breakers. Like when Ex Machina came out. They came out with a Tinder profile for the girl who's in Ex Machina. The
Ava?
She plays the machine.
No shit.
They came out with a Tinder profile that people would match with her, and then literally her responses would be to them like, "Hey, go see Ex Machina in theaters coming soon," and like so that like they would do little viral marketing like that instead of doing like huge and expensive TV commercials. Movie trailers in theaters, like they would save so much money by just being viral and using the internet to their advantage. That's why A24 was so like sneakily working its way up because they were doing very, very viral ways of marketing movies. And it's really shown because they're one of the most prestigious studios now. Like I think it was in 20... I don't know. The studio has had over 50 Oscar nominations, which is crazy.
In what? Like they started in 15, so that's overall. Only 10 years.
Started in 12.
13 years. That's insane.
And like they come out with a lot more movies than the major studios like Paramount and stuff. But that's because they're not using huge budgets, There's like just recently they started to get bigger budget movies, and even so, those are considered small studio movies compared to them. Like $50 million was like, I think Civil War was like $50 million or something like that, and that's nothing compared to like what Universal's making, like with the Mission Impossible movies and all that. That's like a very small amount of what other studios are doing, and I think it's a good strategy, and they shouldn't try to change what's not broken. But I don't think I ever answered what the first A24 movie I saw was. It was Spring Breakers. Yeah. It's Spring Breakers, The Bling Ring, and Spectacular Now.
All right, so what was everybody's second A24 movie they saw? If everybody saw Spring Breakers first.
Oh man,
So I think
the first one's
that's a sign
the
of our
first is always
age.
your first, but the second is where you really hit it home. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll do anything
Mine was,
twice.
I don't remember which one I saw first. It was either Bling Ring or Spectacular Now.
Mine was the Vitch.
The Vitch. I still say it
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. It's so funny.
I say it every single. I've said it since it came out. I've called it.
Yeah, I
the
love the
Vitch.
Vitch.
I was like, why is there 2 feet?
Do you guys have a favorite A24 movie then?
Uncut Gems.
Oh,
It's
those-
probably-
Uncut Gems might have been my second, actually. I think during COVID I watched that and like I was like, this sucks. I fucking hate the experience of watching this movie. No, the movie doesn't suck, but it's so painful to watch.
the
I'm
feeling
just
you
like,
get.
That's
yeah.
what I like about
how is
it
he
so
still
much.
fucking this up? Just stop gambling, man.
I love I love movies that make you feel something like down to
Oh,
the core, and that
yeah.
movie
Yeah,
makes
makes-
you
yeah.
feel a lot of things.
And then I saw Good Time after, like probably a couple years later, which was the prior Safdie brothers movie, and it
Yeah,
was
the one
just
right
it
before.
was, they were both captured the feeling of anxiety so well. They were miserable movies, but I still rewatch them. Actually, I've only seen Uncut Gems twice. I have not rewatched it since 2020, but I have rewatched Good Time a few times because Pattinson is just so damn charismatic.
Yeah, those are good ones. There's so many. It wasn't hard for me to pick a favorite, but like when I was going down the list of all the A24 movies, I was like, holy crap, they've got so many of my like top 10 favorite movies.
It's a crazy
Like
list.
half of them are going to be A24 movies,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. But my favorite one is Past Lives, which is a Korean American movie.
So good.
And it was the director's first time directing. It came out in 2023. It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And I fell in love with that movie. It gave me the feeling that I felt when I saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Nice.
So Past Lives is really high up there with just the feeling of humanity in a way. I want to be as general as I can because there's just so many factors that I loved about Past Lives. But I also love like The Last Black Man in San Francisco and The Green Knight. Like I love Dev Patel. I love what he's doing, and I'm excited
is
to
awesome.
see his own stuff.
That was great.
But there's just so many. The list kept going. I have like a lot of honorable mentions that I don't even really need to mention. Like Bo Burnham's 8th Grade, I love. Jonah Hill's mid 90s. Like they've just made so many good movies because they trust these voices.
I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of funny like trivia. Do you remember the old YouTube video Potion Seller?
I've never heard of it. What was that?
No? Okay. Well, it's this video of this guy talking to his webcam, and he has this this effect on his webcam that like stretches his face out to where like he just keeps going like closer and farther away from the camera and just talking to his camera about when he's closer he's the potion seller and when he's farther away he's the witch, or maybe it's the other way around, whatever. But that guy is married to Celine Song, who did Past Lives, and then that guy.
Okay.
So
know
Celine
her
Song,
husband,
Past
yeah.
Lives is about like a throuple, right?
Yeah.
And then her husband is the guy who wrote fucking Challengers, which is also about a throuple.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on in that household? They need to get something off their chest.
What is
They
going
gotta
on in
get
the
something off
potion
their
seller
chest.
household?
They're selling some potions.
That's funny. I didn't know he started on YouTube and stuff.
It was this goofy ass video from like, I don't know, like maybe 2010 or something, a long time ago, and it's just like when it was really crummy webcams, and he went on to be a Hollywood writer. It's very funny.
That's funny that they have very similar themes in both of their movies. Because that was the first movie
Yeah.
he wrote, and that was the first movie she wrote.
Yep.
It's like there's some going on in that household with some jealousy,
Who's
or maybe
the
some
third
unspoken.
that's introduced them? That's what I
We don't know yet.
Good
That's
question.
that's the third movie when they all write together.
Because we're gonna talk about the girl Celine Song, who made the one that I loved. She has a follow up movie that's coming out this summer called Materialists, and it's her follow up, and it's also about a love triangle.
Are you
So
kidding
she's
me?
She's kind of. That's why I'm a little worried about this new one that she's doing. It seems like one for them and one for me, because this seems like a very generic, like, who is
Rom-com.
this? Yeah, this very generic rom com of who she's gonna pick. This rich guy played by Pedro Pascal, or the guy who's like working in catering, like, and he's like is played by Chris Evans. It's like they're very different lifestyles. Like Pedro Pascal's like a multi-millionaire, and Chris Evans is just like an everyday man, normal job type of guy. But yeah, so I'm a little skeptical because they do have a trailer out for Materialists, her follow up, and it looks a lot more lighthearted, and it seems a lot less personal, but I could still be very entertaining based off what she's doing. The follow up to a prestigious debut is always frightening. So maybe she just wanted to make something fun, something light.
Yeah,
But
Past Lives is going to be hard to follow up. Like that movie was so gut wrenching in a very unique way.
yeah, it's a very individual story, and that's what A24 does.
That's what we do, baby.
Chris, do you know what A24 comes from? Have you looked up what that is from?
It's,
A lot of people don't know what A24 comes from.
What's funny is it was on Pop Culture Jeopardy. One of the questions
Oh,
on
yeah.
there. That's the only reason why I knew it. It's highway in Germany,
Italy.
Sorry, the other one.
Very.
I also want to take this
Italian
moment to highlight where my A24 shorts.
Yo,
Did I give those to you? Because they were too
super
small.
fan.
Every time
Yeah.
Chris comes over, he leaves with some goodies.
I always get gifts.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait till I own a piece of A24 clothing, dude. You guys are swagged out. I look like a scrub.
That's another thing that made A24 grow is they came out with a subscription program and merch that was strictly about the studio. A lot of studios don't do that. Like Paramount
That is
doesn't release
unique.
Paramount clothing. There's not really any company that does that at all. A24 was like, people are going to like us. The crazy thing is like, you'll know an A24 movie by it being an A24 movie more likely than you are knowing who the director or writer are. You're like, oh, that's an A24 movie. And like some people are going to be like, well, no, it's a Celine Song movie. It's like, no, but it's A24,
Right.
which is crazy because they put movie studios as household names. Like it's crazy that they did that. I just think A24 like is doing really well. And there was a culmination of all of their success came out with Everything Everywhere All at Once when everyone started to notice because it swept the 95th Oscars in 2023, winning 7 out of the 11 major nominations, like Best Picture, Best Directors, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It didn't win Best Actor because I believe Brendan Fraser won that, but Best Supporting Actor, Ke Kwang won Best Supporting, which was groundbreaking, and it was like no one had ever seen that before because it was such a genre-mashing movie. But again, A24 just does such a good job of highlighting its creators.
Was The Whale A24?
The Whale.
I think it
was
was also.
A24, yeah. So even when it lost, it still won.
It won to itself. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
A24 Oscars.
It's crazy, and I believe that year it beat the most Oscar wins. It beat Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, with
Holy shit.
who previously held the record for most Oscars that year. So A24 is on the map, and now they've gotten so big that I'm going to ask you guys something toward the end of the episode. But I guess
Did you just
I'll
tease
say.
us?
Are you teasing us right now?
I have, we still have some movie news to talk about, and it's going to lead right into what I want to say.
That's good.
But the upcoming A24 projects that are coming out look very exciting. Like, are you guys fans of Tim Robinson? Is that how you say his name? He's from SNL. He's I Think You Should Leave Now. He became a meme, very popular on the internet. You'd probably recognize his face. He's like that. There's clips from his show where he's like, I don't know what I'm
gets real
doing.
angry.
He's driving a car. He's one of the best people to see get angry, for sure. He no one gets angry like Tim Robinson. He has a movie coming out with Paul Rudd called Friendship that I'm looking forward to. These are just movies that I think people should have on their radar this summer. Friendship is going to be a really good movie, I think. It's just a dark comedy about male friendship, which I think could be really exciting because I like Paul Rudd too. Have you guys seen anything about that? Friendship?
I have seen like teasers and stuff for it. I don't know. I don't feel like I don't get Tim, to be honest. Like some of the clips I have seen, there's like one of the zipline skit. That one's hilarious. The drive-through skit is funny, like the first couple of times, but like I don't know. I feel like he does the same thing in a lot of his skits, and it's like very heavy-handed.
Have you ever seen a show called Detroiters?
No.
I have seen. I saw a bit from that. Yeah.
It's got Sam Richardson. It's on Netflix right now. I binged that show. That show is really funny. I would recommend watching that. That was before he did I Think You Should Leave Now with Netflix, and I think it was around the time where he was on SNL. But I'm looking forward to that movie, Friendship. These are movies that are coming out really soon or this year. There's a movie called Bring Her Back, which is by the Filippo brothers. Is that how you say their name? Filippo?
Filippo? I think so.
They're Australian brothers who made a movie called Let Me In?
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Okay, Talk to Me.
Let Me In was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. They have another horror movie called Bring Her Back, and I think this is going to be one of the scariest movies that I can think of. It just looks terrifying, but they have a very strong vision, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do more. Celine Song's follow-up, Materialists, is coming out, which is just another, I don't want to use the word generic rom-com, but it looks like a generic rom-com. Maybe they're hiding stuff and to give it some substance. But what do you guys think about Dwayne Johnson's The Smashing Machine? Have you guys seen the trailer for that?
I actually need to watch the trailer, but I remember seeing the snapshot of him in the makeup looked incredible.
Dwayne Johnson looks unrecognizable as a UFC fighter named Mark Kerr, he was around in the 90s when UFC first started, and I think Dwayne Johnson's coming for that Oscar. It's by Benny Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers. He's making this by himself. Put that on your radar, The Smashing Machine. And then Marty Supreme is the other Safdie brother. I believe his name's Josh Safdie. He's making a Timothée Chalamet movie. A lot of people don't know what this movie's going to be. They said it's loosely based off this real competitive ping pong player who is really like nerdy, but he still like was known worldwide. And it's supposed to be a worldwide adventure of him like going all over the world and experiencing life. And it's supposed to be really chaotic. And I think it was Jake that said it's Timothée Chalamet having sex with Gwyneth Paltrow a lot, right?
Well, that was like the most shocking news line that everyone like kind of gripped onto. And then like I'm looking through the cast list right now, which I mean that age gap is insane. Gwyneth, you need to stop your nonsense with Goop and all that. Whatever you're doing, just stop it. And like this cast list, they got Fran Drescher, you got Penn Jillette, Tyler the Creator, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Tyler the Creator. I'm excited to see Tyler the Creator because apparently he's a big role. I think he's like Timothée Chalamet's driver in the movie throughout the movie or something. So
yes, I'm having sex with Gwyneth Paltrow, man.
Yeah, the quote that Gwyneth Paltrow said was like, "I have a lot of sex with Timothée Chalamet," and everyone was like, "That's what you wanted to say about the movie?" Like,
yes,
okay, if that gets people to see it, sure. But
hashtag Goop.
Those movies are coming out this year, and that's what I think people should put on their list. A24 is always doing good things. I have this next news story is mainly for Chris. They're making an Anthony Bourdain biopic, Chris. Have you heard anything about this?
I have heard of it, yeah. I've heard about it.
How do you feel about people making, especially with Anthony Bourdain, he was, aside from his TV shows and stuff, he seemed like he was a pretty private man. How do you feel about them doing a biopic? I don't really know if it's got the approval of Anthony Bourdain's family and his estate. I don't know if they signed off on it or if it's I don't remember what the word is, or if it's just like almost like a unauthorized biopic or not. But it's got a lot of backing. A24 is producing it. How do you feel about them doing it after his death?
I think the fact that A24 is doing it will give credence to it being something decent. But I do think that it's something that if you asked him, he probably would say hell no. But I think that if you do it in a tasteful manner, highlighting like the man he is and how he became to be who he is, I think that would make it a really interesting. If you haven't read Kitchen Confidential, it's amazing. It's such a good insight into the kitchen world. That's his that's his like kitchen book, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he very interesting perspective on the service and industry world that I think is probably nastier than a lot of people give it insight to. I think The Bear is like the most washed down version of that like most everybody would be familiar with. And so I think that this is an opportunity to kind of like shine that light on that, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that grunginess. Because if they come out and it's like a real sweet, like soft story, like then this wouldn't work. Which I think that's why A24 is being a part of it. Though. No, God, no. That's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
A24 being attached to this will be sure to make sure that it's done correctly. So I'll be seeing it for sure. That's a
Nice.
must see
Did you
for
ever
me.
see have you seen his documentary yet? Roadrunner came out in 2021.
No, I've not watched it yet.
It came out in theaters. That was one I wanted to see with you. If you end up wanting to watch it sometime, I want to watch it too. The
Yeah, it'd be
Roadrunner is
time.
what it's called. But I know, Jake, you're familiar with this director, Matt Johnson, who's directing it. We've talked about Matt Johnson on the podcast before, but what do you know or what do you think about Matt Johnson?
Love Matt Johnson. I can't remember how I got introduced to him, but it was only maybe 3 years ago, and I found his show Nirvana the band, the show. I remember watching it like the YouTube versions of it, and there was just I got it online somewhere. Someone had just uploaded like all of everything because it was on
Yeah.
Vice Canada, I think, and then because that show is such a nightmare to release because every episode is based on a movie or a show, and all of the jokes are also based on references to shows or movies, including the music
Yeah.
bits from those movies or shows. So it's like impossible to fucking like release these episodes anywhere.
Yeah, it's like a copyright nightmare.
Yeah. And then I got into his movies, and it was really funny because a friend of mine, a friend of me and Chris's, Delon, yeah, he always talked about this movie that he saw called The Dirties, and how he was like, man, it's this really cool, like grungy kind of like Cloverfield or that kind of like found
Yeah.
footage kind of style of movie. And then I started showing him Nirvana the band, the show, and I was like, this is the guy. He's like, no, this was directed by Matt Johnson. I was like, that's the guy. That's him right there on the
they're
screen. He was
they're like two different spectrums of the personality.
right. It's insane that he was able to make such a serious movie. And then I saw Operation Avalanche. That was his second one.
Never saw
And then
that
I was
one, but I saw the
so
Dirties.
excited. Yeah, that one was very tight too. And like his whole guerrilla style of filming, like they filmed the car chase scene in that movie in their own car. They had no safety like precautions taken whatsoever, like bouncing over hills and stuff. And then Blackberry was like a really great step into a more professional setting, I guess, where he had more high class actors and more money. I bet.
Got a lot of eyes on Blackberry. Blackberry was my introduction to Matt Johnson, but before that came out, or no, I saw Blackberry first, and then my original co-host, who's usually on this, Justin, he was like, "You have to see The Dirties," and that movie freaked me out and blew me away because of how convincing and real it feels. Chris, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if we can say this online, but it's about these people who want to like scare the school and like get like prep and plan a school. I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
A school explicitive.
Yeah, a school,
And unaliving.
A school
yeah,
unaliving.
and then like the guy
This is a
who's
movie?
making, who's played by. It's all found footage. And it's this guy recording himself. And he's played by Matt Johnson. He starts to take it so seriously, and he just spirals out of control by the end of the movie. And the way it unfolds is incredibly well done.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough watch.
It is a tough watch, but if you've seen Matt Johnson stuff, you'd be like, this was his first movie. This is what he decided to do. But it's so well done. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That just his range is very promising because he made a movie called Blackberry, which was about the creation of the BlackBerry. That had Glenn Howerton, who's Dennis in the Sunny movies, and I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that movie. But I think I trust Matt Johnson and his ideas, and I'm excited that he's attached to this movie. The writers are brand new, but they cast the guy who's going to play Anthony Bourdain. His name is Dominic Sessa, who he's only been in one movie that's been out, and he's been in a lot of like credit card commercials recently, but you're going to see his face a lot. He's also making an appearance. He's one of the main characters in the new Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Yep. That's what I was going to
But
say.
his first movie was his first debut role was the Holdovers, I believe. He might have been nominated. He was nominated at some award shows. I don't know if it was
Holdovers
the Oscars.
was great.
But the Holdovers is an incredible movie. Yeah, and so I think this movie is going to be really good. Right now it's titled Tony, and sources say that the film takes place during the summer of 1976 when young Anthony Bourdain has a life-changing summer in Provincetown, Massachusetts. they said that Bourdain started off washing dishes and worked his way up to a learn-on-the-job cooking position there at a restaurant called Ciro and Sal's, which still exists today. So I believe it's probably going to center around that era of him working his way up and falling in love with the kitchen. And they also have Antonio Banderas is the only person who's cast as well. He's probably going to be like the head chef of the restaurant, possibly. No one really knows for sure. But I think this is going to be a really promising movie. I think it's going to get Matt Johnson an Oscar nomination. And I think because Matt Johnson's going to do some incredible things coming up in the future. He already made a Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and Neon picked it up. So it's going to be distributed soon. It's made, it debuted at the, what was it? There was one of the film festivals in the past couple months. And he was afraid because of copyright issues and all that stuff. He's like, I don't know if anyone's going to buy this movie or if it's possible to release. So everyone who saw it at the film festival, he was like, I hope you guys remember everything and talk about it and remember every detail. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to release this movie. Yeah. But then Neon, an up-and-coming independent studio, bought it. So it is going to be released in the future. And that's what I want to say is Neon Films is, I think, the next runner-up behind A24 because Neon Films started in 2017, so they're a few years behind. But they're making movies like Parasite, which swept the Oscars. They made Andy Samberg's Palm Springs, Nicolas Cage's Pig, and most recently Nora. They made. So they're making their way into the independent scene, and I think they're going to be a good challenge for A24 to up their game even more because I think Neon's coming up and doing the same method that A24 was doing. So Neon and A24 are going to go against each other for the next couple of years, which I'm excited for. It's good for original artists. But yeah, Anthony Bourdain biopic. I only brought that up because I know Chris is a big fan of Anthony Bourdain, and it was good news that Jake likes Matt Johnson. So I think that was a good news story for us.
Me and Chris, wow. It's the perfect combo.
You guys complete each other. You guys should try to be on that set. Let's see if we can get you guys on that set.
Never mind.
Was that you?
Cut that out. That's supposed to be a heart, and then Chris is supposed to do the other half the heart.
I didn't know what I was like.
It's the other half the heart.
Are you petting
Chris.
him on the head?
Cut this out. Cut this out of the video.
Cut it. Cut that. There we go.
Yeah. Put this part in. Put this part in.
Here's your.
This episode's
thumbnail.
edited by Jake.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry for the listeners. They sound like they're getting a little too into it.
I love movies.
Popcorn.
For those of you who are not on the visual podcast, they just made a heart with their cameras.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, yeah, that's the only movie news I have. Kind of. This next movie news is going to lead into a prompt that I want to talk about. There's rumors swirling that A24 wants to make more commercial films, which is making a lot of people sweat. They want to. There's rumors that they're going to buy existing IPs and franchises that have sort of fizzled out. Like they're producing a Friday the 13th prequel series with Peacock. So that's like one of the bigger franchises that they're attached to. And I don't think they've ever been attached to a franchise that big before. And this prequel series is with Peacock, and it has Linda Cardellini, who plays Velma in Scooby-Doo, and she's from Freaks and Geeks. She plays Pamela Voorhees, who's Jason's mother, and it's a prequel about her, she plays a woman who gave up a singing career to raise a special needs child, but takes a dark turn when she loses her son. So it's just a prequel series about her going mad. There's not much to say about that. It's going to be coming out on Peacock in the next year or so. But the fact that they are attached with a Friday the 13th franchise makes people nervous because there's also rumors. Have you guys ever heard about the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Of course.
Back in the 80s, 1988?
Yeah.
There's rumors that they're trying to buy the rights to that and reboot the series entirely. Jean-Claude Van Damme probably won't be attached at all. They want to reboot the whole thing.
Yeah,
but them going into existing IPs and franchises is making people worried. So I was going to ask you guys, I'm going to go along with it. Like, what franchise do you think would benefit from A24 getting their hands on? Franchises that are kind of dying out.
I have a fun answer.
Go for it.
Star Wars.
Whoa.
They're dying out. Nobody.
I don't think we
nobody's
could
being
afford to
big-
buy it from Disney, though.
I agree, but
Fun fact, this was going to be a
Hey.
Star Wars episode until I found out Jake said, I don't care about Star Wars.
I don't know.
It
anything about
changed
it.
everything.
I really
It
don't.
changed it all.
I missed the boat. I missed the ship on that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
well, I think you missed the TIE fighter on that. Please.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A24. I mean, it's going down. Star Wars is becoming less and less relevant. They oversaturated the story. It's way too hard to follow, and most movies, people would agree, are what's the lack of a better word, dumb. Like the last three that they made. Man, could you imagine like how much more like interesting? I don't know if you've seen Andor or even
really
like
boring.
the earlier episodes of
Season
the
2
Mandalorian.
is really boring. Right.
Season 1's really great. No, I agree. Season 2 is bad. But I think if they took that grittier tone and applied that to the entire series, man, that would talk about refreshing something.
It would be nice to see less studio hands and voices on a Star Wars project, because you know that they changed, like the Solo movie, which was originally written by the guys who did 21 Jump Street, directed by, and they got fired because they're like, we don't like the direction you're going. It's too whimsy. It's too whimsical. It's too strange. It's not Star Wars. So they fired them and hired a studio director. It was just like, you're going to do what we say. And he did what they said. And it came out subpar. And they shot like most of the movie too. Of Solo.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you let it
movie.
ride and let people just play around in that universe, I think it would be actually much more entertaining.
And it seems like that's the direction Star Wars is trying to do by hiring directors like Taika Waititi, supposed to be doing his own movie, and like this new one with Ryan Gosling is going to be. I don't know. I think they're trying to go in that direction of making the individual voices more prevalent rather than it just being a studio thing. But we'll see how it works out, because it is dying and the fan base is really angry right now. I can agree to that. What about you, Jake? What franchise do you think would benefit from A24 getting their hands on it?
Let's just sign Tom Cruise on for another 8 years of Mission Impossible.
Whoa!
Just offer him $100 million, and he's like, God damn it! I guess I'm back. I got to do 8 more movies. Final Reckoning.
You
not
think
today.
A24 would do $100 million movie? I don't think they've ever gone over 60.
I mean, no, I'm talking about just paying Tom Cruise $100 million.
To do 10 of those? To do
And
10 of
then,
them?
yeah, to make 10 of them. And he's like, because Final Reckoning's supposed to be the end, right? He's like,
Right.
but then it wasn't. Once again.
brought me back.
Seriously, maybe like having them redo like a Fast and Furious movie, like an original concept, no whole new characters, back to like the return to form of 1 and 3. That would be tight, like a serious movie that's not just in
When you say
jumping cars
3,
out
you
of
mean
buildings.
Tokyo Drift?
I mean Tokyo Drift. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like having original characters and original story, just wipe the slate clean.
Those are huge franchises you guys mentioned. I was
Well,
thinking
that's
of
why
dying
I think
ones.
though,
Like, once
like-
you hear mine, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I could." Like mine are.
You called me on the
those
spot.
are huge. Yeah, that's good. I mean, honestly, if they were to do a A24 Mission Impossible movie, it'd probably be like the whole drama would like him playing like a chess match, having to win a chess match. and
I want
making it a
Philip Seymour
mental
Hoffman
thing.
level mind games again. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her.
Yeah, that was a
he
good
was
one.
great.
That's a good one. The one that I wrote was A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think an A24 Nightmare on Elm Street would be really incredible, because they
Street, that'd be
failed
cool.
the last reboot, and I think it's small enough that you can make something really substantial with. Because Freddy Krueger's iconic still.
He's a cool villain. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a villain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I also wrote down Austin Powers, A24 Austin Powers. That'd be insane.
That would
Nice.
be cool.
That would be awesome.
24 Austin Powers would be great.
Who's your new Mike? Who's your new Mike Myers? Who's the new Austin Powers?
That's a good question.
Ooh, good question.
Who says you can't bring him back? But
He's still kicking around.
Oh, man, that's a
maybe you
good one.
have
I don't
like
know.
one of the Snell guys do it.
The Snell?
who's
Yeah, like
Who was that?
I mean like one of the older Snell guys, like Andy
you keep saying
Samberg.
that
do
word?
it.
It doesn't help me.
I don't know what Snell means.
Snell. Oh, I'm sorry. Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
said
what
hell.
the heck?
Oh.
Who uses that
Sorry,
word like that?
guys.
Snail
You guys don't
guys.
watch it. You guys don't watch it week to week. Is what
I don't
I'm-
think anyone that does
I don't
knows
think
what you mean by
anyone's.
that.
I don't
No,
think
Snell.
anyone-
Snell. What?
No.
All right. Well, we're gonna this will be up on the TikTok in a week or so. Go ahead and down in the comments, let us know if you call it Snell or not.
Yeah.
Come on, I cannot be in the minority on that. There's no way. SNL, Snell. It's good.
Nah, SNL.
SNL.
Snell.
Okay, you
want to call it Saturday?
I'm trying to make Snell happen. It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, Chris.
You're gonna call it Saturday Night Lights live?
No, we call it SNL.
It's 3 letters. It's not that hard.
I'm making it faster. SNL. Snell.
Snell.
Yeah, I was watching Snell.
Snell.
Yeah.
Snell.
Want some Snell?
All right. I don't know who would be a good Austin Powers nowadays.
I was saying Andy Samberg. Sorry, that's who I was
Honestly,
trying to get
that would
out of that.
Huh, interesting.
Not
Actually,
I'm on a boat, Andy
Tacone.
Samberg. Modern Andy Samberg.
Make Yorm Tacone
Right.
Andy Samberg. Oh, wait, hold on. Make him Austin Powers. Fuck.
That'd be a good team. Yeah, if Lonely Island made an Austin Powers movie, that'd be sick.
That would be hilarious.
That's a really hard
funny.
question. Maybe an up and comer, but you would have to sell it. You'd have to sell his face. So I don't know. I hate that my
Timothy
mind is
Chalamet.
going Timothy Chalamet. I hate that I'm thinking that, because it's like he's people are like, are there any other actors, young upcoming actors?
It's gonna be him.
Timothy
He's gonna be
Chalamet, number
the
one.
first- the
Yeah,
first
there you
one
go.
for sure.
Timothy Chalamet is
Alright.
Austin Powers. It's like when they had Tom Cruise and they, like in the movie within the movie they had Tom
Austin
Cruise as
Butler?
Austin Powers.
Yeah, that was
Oh, there you go.
one of the greatest.
Austin
cameos, but
Butler, I don't
Austin
think could do
Butler, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, no way.
No way.
Do you guys know who
We can't have
Jack
an
Dylan
actual
Grazer is?
Nah.
Who?
He was the kid who had like a lot of sickness in the It movies, the It prequel.
Oh, you're talking about JDD?
Yeah, no more acronyms for you.
Yeah, you tried.
You're about
JDG?
Jijiga?
Cole Sprouse? Nah.
Oh, the Sprouse. kid
Dylan
could be funny.
Sprouse?
Dylan
see
Sprouse.
that.
I don't know.
Being
It'd
a
be
part of
very
something.
hard.
Oh, this
It'd
is
be
the
a very
Shazam kid?
Yeah. It'd be a very strenuous casting process, because that was wholly Mike Myers, you know?
Yeah, he was. He was.
But yeah, so how do you guys feel overall about A24 going into big franchise movies? Do you think that it could be a good thing, or do you think they're going to become a sellout in the next 10 years?
Well, it's an issue because every other studio has been on that wave for over a decade now, and we have
We're getting fatigued.
we have a swamp of remakes of old movies. They're not making any new IPs anymore. Well, like they're making
Right.
much less new IPs than they are like remakes or just continuations of existing storylines. A24 was the company that was not doing that.
Yeah, we just put so much emphasis on how they thrive because they weren't doing that.
Right. And now they're
Yeah.
like, fuck it.
Yeah, they want to get to big franchises. That's why I think this is an interesting move.
Yeah.
My brother has entered my room.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything.
Get out.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yo.
Welcome to the podcast, Billy Joe, my brother.
Featured. Is that Billy Joel Armstrong?
Billy Joe Armstrong. Yeah. But that's we started with the strength of it. Now, is the future of A24 doomed because they're doing this? We'll find out. It's a very interesting choice that they're doing that, especially going after Bloodsport. Weird choice.
Reminds me of a question I asked you a long time ago, Elijah, where I asked you, how many Star Wars do we need to make to not have to make anything else anymore? And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
about 1.5 Star Wars. And I feel like A24 had that same conversation where they went,
Oh,
all right, these independent
Yeah.
movies are making money, but when have we made one Bloodsport that was really good and it capitalized on it? Like, how much money can we make then? Like, I think the dollar signs are showing themselves, and that might be
oh,
why
I
they're
should have
thinking.
looked that up. How many
For sure.
sequels has A24 made?
That's a
I
good
don't know.
That's a good question,
Have
too.
they made any? I don't know, actually. I don't know if they've made any sequels. Producer Chris is on it.
To answer the A24 sequel question, they've made prequels to the movie The Backrooms, which is X.
Oh, that hasn't come out yet. That was
hasn't come out
directed
yet.
by a
Up-
kid
up
who
and
is still
coming.
in high school.
Yeah, that kid. Yeah. That's crazy.
The guy who made
They
that
made
internet-
another
yeah.
prequel as well. I couldn't find, but so they've
they-
mostly made like spiritual successors or prequels to their movies.
There is the X movies. There's, Maxine, X,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
that's
Pearl.
a trilogy. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. They have made. Yeah, there's those. I'm excited for this next segment, you guys. It's been a long time since we've had a fun movie game with History of Popcorn, but I'm looking forward to this one. This is called Box Office Redux.
Burr, burr, burr.
Wow.
We need
I
a
googled it.
you
He
need a
says
jingle.
Redux. Yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
Redux.
He says Redux in Google. I don't know, man.
Who says that?
The little voice when you type in Redux.
Don't
on
listen to
Google
him.
Says pronounce it Redux. But Box Office
yeah,
Redux or Redo, Box Office Redo, whatever, however we want to call it, we're doing this again. And since this whole episode was based on A24, we are going to recast The Hangover. What if A24 made a remake of The Hangover? And
What if they did that?
that'd be insane. For those of you who don't know what The Hangover is, have you been living under a rock? That's an interesting thing if you haven't heard of The Hangover. But if you don't, The Hangover follows three buddies who wake up from a bachelor party in Las Vegas with no memory of the previous night. And the bachelor is missing. They must make their way around the city of Las Vegas in order to find their friend in time for his wedding. And hijinks ensues. I think the three of us were pretty well versed with Las Vegas, so this felt like a good movie to start on. How'd you guys feel about recasting this series? Did it feel a little dirty? Did it feel a little dirty? Because it's kind of a classic comedy.
It was hard. It was difficult. Because, like, the original cast was... I mean, I got to give him credit, dude. I mean, it's Todd Phillips, you know. People love him now because of his most recent work. But it's funny that he was so good at those movies back then. Like, just like comedy movies. Like, the cast is so diverse of, like, the four bros is so diverse and, like, different, like, physically and both... and charismatically, but they all work together so well. So it was really hard to recast these guys.
It really did put all these actors on the map. Like, sure, Ed Helms, who plays Stu, he was in The Office. Bradley Cooper was up and coming. He had been in Wedding Crashers a little bit, and Zach Galifianakis, he shows up in random places, but this really made him a movie star.
He was a character actor, really.
Yeah,
not to
did, like,
mention
Purple
Ken
Onion,
Jeong.
I think.
His first
Jeong.
ever movie. First ever movie.
This was Ken Jeong's first movie?
Yeah, he wasn't even an actor.
What a debut.
crazy.
That's awesome.
He only
That's
did the
insane.
movie. He did the movie because it gave him enough money to help with his wife's cancer treatment. That's why he took the role.
Smokes.
He was like, "It pays good. I'm going to do it."
He was a doctor.
He was a doctor, yeah, and he needed help. His cancer,
Dang.
and it helped him. His wife's still alive, and she's all better, and so that movie
Hangover
really
saved a
changed
life.
Ken Jeong's life. Yeah.
The Hangover saved us all.
So I felt a little dirty making this new cast just because it's almost untouchable. Like but that's the exciting thing about History of Popcorn. We go there. we're gonna change your mind about The Hangover, and
We can,
So we have
and
three.
we will.
We can and we will. So we have three different casts set for The Hangover. A24's The Hangover. How do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to go one character at a time, or do you want each person to present their full cast?
I think we
And then
go.
we discuss.
full
I like
cast.
one character. I don't
You
know.
wanna
It's
go
kind
one
of
character?
one character is kind of funny.
Elijah tiebreaker.
Dealer's choice.
I put out the pitch. I don't know. I was asking. I guess.
Well,
And now you got to end it.
Okay, let's do Frick. I think we should do the whole cast at a time so people can picture it better.
Sounds good.
Because if we say three names at a
True.
time, people are gonna be like, "Wait, whose was who?"
Right. How
and
do they
then-
mesh?
Yeah. So I think we should do each person pitches their idea for the full cast, and we will give our opinions whenever we want. And I will make it so that the listeners and viewers will pick their favorite cast out of all three of us, and we'll see what the comments say later on, and we'll see if there's a winner or not.
Ooh.
Although we're just having fun here, so there's no real
fun.
winners. The real
sure.
winners are the friends we made along the way. All right, who wants to go first? Does anyone want to jump on that grenade?
Jake does.
Let's do
All
it.
right, Jake. This is Jake's pitch for A24's The Hangover.
The Jake over. All right. So if A24 redid this movie, I picked some of the A24's normal characters. I looked through their cast list and people that I liked, and also people that would fit the general character of who they were supposed to be, not just people I liked. Alan was probably the hardest. I don't know. I don't know if it was easier for either of you guys, but for someone to fit the role that Zach Galifianakis kind of brought to life, like Zach Galifianakis is original in almost everything he does in a different way, but he does play that like fat weirdo in every single thing that he does in a different, unique way. But so to fill him was really hard. I chose Christopher Abbott. He has one of his eyes is like kind of slightly off center, and he has this like weird intensity about him.
He does it, yeah.
So like he wouldn't exactly be just like Alan, but he would be like, there are Skittles in there. He would in a
He's
different way.
Definitely unnerving. Yeah,
he's unnerving. Yeah, so he'd be a more like unsettling version of Alan. Phil, who was Bradley Cooper, tall, dark, and handsome. I went with Robert Pattinson. He's charismatic. Nice. He's tall. He's like physically.
A24 loves him.
A24 loves him. And then he's also good at American characters. So even though he's English, he would fit the bill great. His accents in Good Time and his other American roles are great. So he could do it. Stu, the dentist. I thought this was the one that I was really unsure about. So I picked Casey Affleck. I feel like watching him in Manchester by the Sea, he has this kind of like brooding kind of upsetness about him, where he's just like, people will throw like annoying situations at him, and he's just like, okay, like just how Stu is kind of brooding in it in the same way, and then he blows up on his lady at the end.
He kind of looks like a sad man. Like Stu's character starts off pretty sad. His life's pretty miserable because he's got a bad wife. He hates his job.
Yeah,
I can see that.
100%. And then Doug is not in the movie very long. He's in very few scenes, but he does have some important scenes, like when they find him on the roof and he wakes up and he tackles him. He's like, "You fucking asshole!" and like tackles him. So you get like a little bit of like who he is. Like he's obviously very upset that this happened. I thought it'd be very funny to put Stephen Ewan in this role. He always plays a guy who is like a good guy, I think, at heart, but he's always in bad situations, like whether it's Beef or Minari or Glenn from Walking Dead. Like he's always a good guy, and he never gets the good end of the stick.
Yeah.
The celebrity cameo, instead of Mike Tyson, I'm gonna go with Nicolas Cage, because I think he lives in Vegas, and I think anybody who saw Nicolas Cage would be freaked out. Everybody loves him.
He could be weird. He could be really
weird. Very weird.
You think he would play himself just like Mike Tyson did?
100%. Yeah, I want Nick Cage being Nick Cage.
Nice. That's a good one.
I remember like living there. My grandparents would say like, "Yeah, we'd like see him at the bar." Like they went to this particular bar. They lived in a nice part of town, and he would just be there with his wife or whatever. And I think I don't know if he still lives there or what. But and then finally we have Mr. Chow. I said Liam Neeson because Liam Neeson has taken 2 roles from Asian actors already: Ra's al Ghul and Qui-Gon Jinn. Clearly not white characters, but he was like, "I'll be a fucking Asian. I don't care." And he's still named Mr. Chow. He's still Mr. Chow.
Same name.
But it's Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's all. Robert Pattinson was the very first person that came to mind to me for Stu as well. Phil. I mean, yeah.
That's a pretty intense cast. When was the last time you saw Casey Affleck in a comedy?
I mean, honestly, even in Manchester by the Sea, at the beginning there's a moment where he has a funny moment with a woman who, like, he's fixing her apartment, and he's like, "Well, we could turn on the shower and see if it leaks downstairs." She's like, "You want me to take a shower right now?" He's like, "I don't give a fuck what you do, Mrs. Olsen. I'm trying to fix a fucking leak." And, like, he has a great comedic timing.
It's very
so, like, he
Boston,
can do it.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Boston humor.
It's good. It's good, though, yeah.
I do like Casey Affleck a lot.
That's a great cast.
Thank you.
Your bad guy was Liam Neeson?
Yeah, Mr. Chow.
Okay.
And he's just another Chinese character, but he's playing a white guy.
That's great. I like that. That's a solid cast. I could see A24 doing that. They love all those people. Chris, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
I think we're most excited to hear yours, so let's hear mine. So I wanted to take a different route and do an all-female cast, or as much of an all-female cast as I could. So I also am not as familiar with an extensive movie lineup, so you forgive me if my selection seems a little surface level. But for Bradley Cooper, Phil, I thought Zoe Kravitz would be a good replacement. I think she's, I mean, stunning,
I like her to be
obviously,
my
but
school teacher.
but she's also, yeah, right. Like I think she would be like the oh hey Mrs. Kravitz, you know, whenever she comes in the classroom
yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
right.
Like everybody,
Yeah.
you know, stiffens up because she's cool and you know whatever, but she's young, you know, but she drives the cool sports car and you know that kind of thing. Her kids love the 6th period class because she leaves 15 minutes early and you know whatever, like that kind
Yeah,
of
that's
thing.
kind of how
Don't talk to me,
Phil
Busnick.
was in the movie. Yeah, don't talk to me after school. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
school's
I
over.
think she gives off that era, you know. Don't talk to me till I've
Yeah,
had my
yeah.
coffee, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Helms, I agree with you. Stu is just been beaten by life. So I try to find somebody similar. So I said Ao Adibri from The
nice.
Bear.
Oh, okay.
I just think she would work in a hospital or a doctor's office of some kind and just fucking hate it and just be miserable with dealing with the idiots that she has to be around all day long. And then, you know, even with these guys, she's like, ugh, like kind of thing.
That's
So
good.
I agree with you. Alan was really hard to come up with somebody as well. That was a challenge. Galifianakis is so unique. And so I tried to come up with somebody that plays kind of the same character and everything that they do, but in a different way. So first person that came to mind for me was Aubrey Plaza.
Nice. I'll take
I think
it.
it'd be interesting to see her have more of a role in something. And I think her and Zoe Kravitz and Ao Adibri trying to go around Las Vegas together would be fucking hilarious. It just sounds like a really
that's good.
funny crew.
Sounds fun.
But then taking in the A24 element of it, like probably with a little bit more grittiness to it, a little bit more like,
There's definitely going to be some rewrites.
yeah. I think Kristen Stewart actually might be a better role for that. I think Kristen Stewart
who?
could like Kristen Stewart.
which role?
For Alan. For still like the comedy relief kind of thing of it all. Like
Like, there's Skittles in there.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza or Kristen Stewart.
yeah, one of the two.
Okay.
But if we're putting this on the poll, I'll say Aubrey Plaza. Kristen Stewart was my alternative.
Nice. I have some
and
alternatives too. Yeah.
For Doug, for Justin Bartha, I'm gonna butcher her name. Rachel Sano. That's how you say her last
Sinet.
name. Sinet.
Who is this?
That would just make me sad because I'd be like, I want more of her. But there's sequel opportunities too to bring them back.
Oh, yeah, this girl.
I just she brings like a certain seriousness tone to it that I think would be needed. And again, kind of like what Jake was saying, like she's always played such serious roles. It'd be funny to see her like cut loose, even just for like briefly. I think it would take you, it would really grab your attention to see her like flip a lid kind of thing. You'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
For Mr. Chow, Ken Jeong, Natasha Lyonne. Their raspy voice.
Great.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
I think like they're in the casino and she's like on the slot machines. There's like an old biddy, just like trying to pass her knowledge on to them and like
Yeah, that's
That's really
hilarious.
good. She does. She can't. I think she could play a really good villain.
yeah, she's like you know they're using my slot machines. We're gonna get them off of them.
My slots. Pulls out a
And then
gun.
the celebrity cameo, keeping it all female, Lady Gaga. She's already here.
Nice.
She's already in a million things. I think it'd be funny if it was her like as Lady Gaga, but in like 50 different outfits throughout the movie.
Every
Like
time
she's just
she-
constantly in something different. Never looks like her.
That's a funny bit. Yeah, yeah.
My other celebrity cameos, Pedro Pascal or Bill Hader, I also think would be fun.
Bill Hader would rule.
I think Pedro Pascal just being like the love interest of all of them during the movie at various different points would be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he, yeah. So that's who I came up
great.
with. That's my.
Those are really good.
That was great.
I'm. That's funny. I didn't know you did a all-female cast. We teased
You
it.
did not know that
correctly.
because you teased it in the
No.
last episode. I
I
was,
was like,
oh,
maybe one of us will do it. I don't know. How would I have known? I wouldn't. That's great. I love it. I'm
That's
glad
so
you did
funny.
that. I thought about doing that, but I was like, that's pretty hard for me.
It was challenging.
There's-
There's unfortunately not a
You
lot
got to
of
picture everything in a whole new light.
Yeah.
That's great. Here we go. This is
Here it
my
goes.
A24's Hangover. My Alan is going to be played by, who was originally played by Zach Galifianakis. My Alan is Michael Cera.
Oh, okay.
I think he could play some a lot of weirdness. He's weird, and he hasn't been weird in a while. He's kind of trying to break out of that, of being like, I'm just, I don't know. He's been trying to break out of his weirdness, I think, which is cool, but I would love to see Alan as Michael Cera. My Phil, it's funny, who was originally played by Bradley Cooper. My Phil is Steven Yeun, which is funny that you said that. I think he would work so well as a cool teacher. I think he would be the guy who's always trying to keep people to calm down. So I like that you said Steven Yeun. I was sad that he was Doug because there's not enough of him in it then. But, sequel opportunities. But I made Steven Yeun my Phil. Stu, the dentist, originally Ed Helms. I made Nicholas Braun, who is in Succession. He's tall and lanky. He kind of exudes Ed Helms a little bit in that way. But
God,
I think
you're so
Nicholas
right.
Braun would play a really good, bumbling, sad guy who gets overwhelmed incredibly easily. And sure, that might be his corner of what he's been playing, but he plays it well.
He does do it. That's such a good pick.
My Doug, I have two options for Doug. I don't want to disappoint people with this first choice that I had because they're like, he was hardly in the movie because it's Doug. So I took that into consideration, but my original choice for Doug was Zac Efron. I think them trying to find Zac Efron would be really enticing, but for marketing purposes and stuff in my head, I was like, people are going to want to see Zac Efron, especially if he's in the trailers and stuff, and they're going to feel shortchanged. So if it wasn't Zac Efron, my backup would be Rupert Grint from the Harry Potter series.
Nice.
I think he would be really excited. People would recognize him and be like, oh, it's Ron Weasley.
Hell yeah.
I think him getting married and them all being friends with Rupert Grint and him being nervous about getting married and all that stuff, I think he would play a really good role of being like, fuck, you
That's
guys
really funny.
forgot about me. Like, I think he's one of those actors where you're like, I forgot that guy was an actor. Not in a bad way. He doesn't need to act because he made so much money. That's his thing. He's a good actor, but Rupert Grint, I think, would be my main Doug who goes missing. For my Mr. Chow, I changed it to Miss Bear because it is a female. I changed the name of Mr. Chow to Miss Bear. That's the character name.
Okay.
And I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised and happy. I chose Aubrey Plaza as the bad guy.
Dude, great minds.
You guys have some good ideas.
That's
Wow.
I think Aubrey Plaza playing a bad guy would be incredible. Of her being like a kingpin or queenpin of
100%.
Vegas would be awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know how
she'd
they
fit
would
it.
do the scene where she jumps out of the trunk. It would probably be a little different. Maybe not. Maybe she'd do that. Go full Jennifer Lawrence like she did in
That
movie.
was insane.
But I think she would be an incredible bad guy, and she could make people laugh, and her intensity I think is there. And then my celebrity cameo, I have two. If you know Vegas, you know this person, but I don't know how marketable they are anymore. But my celebrity cameo would be Chris Angel.
Okay.
That's awesome.
He's just mind freaking the Hangover people.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
He's a street magician guy who's rock and roll. But if he wasn't marketable enough, I would have chosen Shia LaBeouf because I think
Oh my
one.
God, that'd be
That's another
seeing
good one.
him show up as like a really out there character would be it's believable. Kind of like Liam Neeson showing up as a weird guy too.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage, like that, like all those actors, you're just like, what the hell is this person doing there? And they make it work, and it's so bizarre. I think Shia LaBeouf would be there because I think you could get him angry, like they did Mike Tyson. I think he could get
easily.
rage and also
He'd also own a
confusion.
tiger.
Yeah,
the
you
tiger
wouldn't
makes
question
sense.
it. You'd be like, yeah, Shia LaBeouf would have a tiger.
Yeah,
So-
I fucking own a tiger.
Yeah, that was my cast for A24's The Hangover.
That was
It's
awesome.
crazy that
was
I
fun.
had little elements of both of you guys. Steven Yeun.
Yeah, the
and Aubrey
crossover.
Plaza.
Their crossover
That's
was
funny.
interesting for all different
Great
characters
minds.
too.
Yeah, great minds though. So that's a solid. I think those are solid choices. I'm curious to know what the audience will think about these options. I really like Christopher Abbott as Alan though because there's an intensity there I only just got introduced to Christopher Abbott from the Wolfman movie that came out in January. I had never really seen him work until then. You haven't seen Wolfman?
Wolfman.
It came out in January.
Wolfman.
It's literally just the original Universal Wolfman movie, but they put their own spin on it.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in this. The advertising, the marketing was all just Julie Gardner, who I don't particularly care for. So I didn't really. I didn't even know that he was in this.
Yeah, she ends up being like the main character because Christopher Abbott's the Wolfman, and it's kind of like they got to survive him.
Whoa.
It was originally supposed to be Ryan Gosling, but then scheduling conflicts, so it became Christopher Abbott.
So, wow, his makeup looks awesome.
It's a pretty solid movie. It's by the guy who did the Saw, or he wrote the first Saw movie, Leigh Whannell. He also did the movie Upgrade, and he also did the movie The Invisible Man. The new
Invisible Man was cool.
So they trust him with these Universal monsters, but Christopher Abbott is a really good choice, I think.
Yeah, he's got honestly one of my favorite, if not the favorite A24 movie is It Comes at Night.
Oh yeah,
have you seen that one?
That one's great.
That one, yeah, like him, him running into Joel Egerton, who's the main character, and they like have that weird tense relationship where they're sharing the house together. And Christopher Abbott always has these like just very strange characters that are like something's like not all the way right. Something's always a little bit off. You're like just not comfortable around him.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I was not expecting anyone like that in the cast. Casey Affleck's a big swing too, but he's done some good comedy. He came out with one called what was it called? I forgot. There's an Apple TV movie that he came out with Matt Damon just recently.
The Instigators.
The Instigators, yeah, and it has what's that rapper's name? White guy.
White guy.
It has Jack Harlow in it too.
Oh, yeah, Jack Harlow.
But that's like an action comedy, and I think he does a really good job. Casey Affleck does a really good job in that movie. So these are awesome. Natasha Lyonne, wow. Did you give Natasha Lyonne a different name, or is she still called Mr. Chow? Just like a secret name?
Yeah.
Did you come up with one? It could work. Mr. Chow.
I think she's still just Mr. Chow. Yeah, I think she's still Mr. Chow. Yeah, 100%.
That's the way to do it.
Liam Neeson's still Mr. Chow too.
Yeah, first he's Qui-Gon Jinn, Ra's al Ghul, and Mr. Chow. He plays only Asian characters.
The thing about that Liam Neeson role, though, is he does it exactly how Ken Jeong does it. Verbatim.
Yeah. He jumps out of the car. No, you fuck on me.
Yeah. So,
Suck on these little Chinese nuts.
One of the other ideas I had for Ken Jeong was Aquafina.
Oh, yeah.
I swear to God, when you told me that you wanted to do women characters, I was like, Aquafina.
She's gonna pop up. She's definitely gonna pop up.
Yeah.
She's a pop-off queen.
They both have villain voices for sure. They could sound like it.
Yeah.
They both have similar rasps. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did that. I enjoyed it. I had a good experience. I am fulfilled. We hope you enjoyed Box Office Redux. Let us know which cast you like the most. Which one would you buy a ticket for? A24's The Hangover. Let us know in the comments. Who would you cast in these roles? And so on and so forth. Thank you for watching Box Office Redux. Redo. Very exciting. And that's the end of our episode too. We did it, guys. We made it through. We talked a lot about A24 and we talked about the future. We're glad that you listened. We're glad you're hanging out with us. Let us know what we should be watching. Let us know what stories stood out to you. Let us know what you think of A24. What's your favorite A24 movie? What was the first one you saw? Do you guys have any send-offs you want to say before we say goodbye for a week?
What an honor. What an honor to be here finally on the history of popcorn.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Jake. You are natural when it comes to talking about movies. It's very fun to have guests on here. Producer Chris has some good ideas about getting more guests, so look forward to that. We've been cooking up a lot of ideas for the podcast, and we're looking forward to it. Do you have any send-offs, Chris?
It's worth it to invest in a water pick.
Water pick? Like flossing?
Yeah, but like floss and use the water pick. It's an added layer.
Do both?
It's nice.
Okay.
Keep these on hand at all times. Backpack, car, desk at work, everywhere.
Yep. Keep them teeth good.
Keep
You
them
know,
good.
you guys are teaching me stuff every day too. I'm glad you guys
That's what
are my
we're here to
friends.
do.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.
Bye.
It's that thing.
That is so fetch.
You love them and they know it.
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off? Yeah, I was high when I said that. Tell them. What we're talking about is money. Real money. Amigo money. No dough, no show.
Hamburger, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
How? I mean, funny like I'm a clown.
That guy in little gold.
Take it off, dickhead. I'm serious.